What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Since Bungie has added the Fireteam Finder function into Destiny, I've used this new feature to set up quite a few raid and dungeon groups. For the most part, these have gone pretty smoothly, but there's been one big issue that I've noticed with every single group, and that is that no one is using the Grand Overture when it comes to damage phases, and honestly, for the life of me, I can't understand why. This is the single greatest and easiest weapon to use against raid and dungeon bosses, and other high-ranking enemies like champions and tormentors. It's capable of putting up more damage than the Thunderlord, or the Dragon's Breath for that matter, which is saying a lot since we have several artifact mods right now that enhance solar weapons and rocket launchers. But unlike the Dragon's Breath, which relies heavily on the synergy from these artifact mods and solar synergy, the Grand Overture is completely self-reliant. It doesn't need the influences of anything else to perform well. The Grand Overture is a one-of-a-kind exotic heavy machine gun that's absolutely perfect in up-close damage phases or from a distance. This weapon was built to replicate the abilities of the Cabal Colossus, so it fires out these huge slug rounds, and when holding in on the trigger, the Grand Overture will reduce the charge between these shots. Each slug deals a base amount of 1,243 points of damage, and this is multiplied based on the combatant's difficulty level. Outside of damage, the range of these slug rounds is the most surprising thing about this machine gun, because they will go on forever, allowing the Grand Overture to really excel at both close quarter combat and at ranged. Each landed shot with the Grand Overture will load one missile into its alternate volley mode, with a maximum of 20 missiles, which is exactly how many rounds that you'll have in the Grand Overture's magazine. Once activated, these missiles will rapidly fire out, causing impact and explosive damage. With a complete volley of 20 rockets, the Grand Overture will put up huge damage numbers in just seconds, taking huge chunks of health away from bosses, or just straight up deleting champions and tormentors. With its catalyst unlocked, these missiles will also blind targets, which will stun unstoppable champions. And any enemy defeated by these missiles will explode, causing area damage to nearby enemies. And these are catalyst effects that can be improved upon even further with the synergy that's created from ARC subclasses, making the Grand Overture a great option in Lost Sectors, Legendary Campaign missions, and Nightfalls. And when it's added to a solar build that includes Radiance, the Grand Overture would have the ability to pierce barrier champion shields, while reaping the benefits of a 20% increase in damage. Since the majority of Grand Overture's damage comes from its missiles, you won't feel like you're wasting ammo when using the Grand Overture against lower ranking enemies. You'll actually be rewarded for doing so, because you'll be able to enter into damage phases with a complete volley of 20 missiles, allowing you to maximize on the Grand Overture's damage potential. And when compared to the damage of other exotics, like the Dragon's Breath, the Grand Overture is in a league of its own. After 30 seconds against Pharazia in the Grasp of Avarice, the Dragon's Breath will put up between 1.5 and 1.8 million points of damage, and that's with a Well of Radiance and 3 Surge mods. But in order to hit the upper end of that damage, you're gonna need to have Argent Ordnance and the other solar effects going. But when the Grand Overture is put to the test, it's able to consistently put up 2 million points of damage all on its own. So just imagine how much more damage you would be able to apply when you add a debuff like Tractor Cannon or Tether, alongside the additional damage from supers like Golden Gun, Thunder Crash, or Needle Storm. To really optimize the use of Grand Overture, a Titan with Actium War Rigs would be best. This way the Grand Overture will have its magazine continuously reloaded. With that said, hunters utilizing the Mask of Bacchus or the Foe Tracers with Marksman Dodge would really be able to capitalize on the use of the Grand Overture. Warlocks also have a few solid options, like the Transverse of Steps, the Luna Factions, or Mantle of Battle Harmony. And when running the Grand Overture on a Strand build, you could use Thread of Ascent to automatically reload this weapon whenever using your grenade ability, which you could then exploit by continuously grappling onto a nearby tangle. I think it goes without being said, but utilizing armor mods like Heavy Ammo Finder, Scavenger, and reserves will really help keep that magazine loaded so you can deal out the most damage. If you're tired of being at the bottom of the leaderboard when it comes to damage phases and are in need of an easy and reliable source of big boy damage, then try using the Grand Overture and let us know what you think. The Grand Overture is available in the exotic kiosk at the tower, but you will need Spoils of Conquest in order to pick it up. And with that, we have concluded my rant on why you should start using the Grand Overture during damage phases in Season of the Wish. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian, just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran just looking for a new home, then be sure to check out the Discord link in the description below and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.